military and civilians, were on hand as Durant was taken off the airplane on a stretcher. Durant, obviously elated by the greeting as he was taken to the waiting ambulance, waved his red beret and gave the cheering crowd an enthusiastic thumbs up. The crew that accompanied Durant on the trip to Ramstein from Somalia said it was evident to them how the helicopter pilot felt to be back in American hands.
When we took off out of Mogadishu, as soon as the wheels came up, his arm went up and he gave us a thumbs up and he grinned from ear to ear. I said, "That's right, you're out of Mogadishu now." So he was really happy.
His condition, he was very elated. There were some of his members from his squadron were there to wish him well. They cheered, they clapped, and his spirits were good. And he was happy to get on the plane, and when the wheels went up, when we took off, and he just raised his hand and made a fist, and he was so happy.
As he was being loaded aboard the military ambulance for the short trip to Landstuhl Army Medical Center, one of two requests was waiting for Durant: a big pizza with lots of cheese. Durant's second request had been waiting all day at Landstuhl, his wife, who had been flown to Germany earlier from the family home in Kentucky. Senior Airman Bettina Kluever, Air Force News, Ramstein Air Base, Germany.
Most of the people here described him as a true American hero. Chief Warrant Officer 3 Durant waved his airborne beret as he was quickly but carefully taken inside the hospital. The crowds cheered on to welcome him back to freedom.
Whatever he went through is terrible, and just showing him our support is what's important, regardless of what the whole situation is. Just supporting our soldiers and what they're doing is very important, I believe.
This guy in mine is a true American hero. Right? He put his life on the line for the American people, Somalian people. He did a good job. He deserves a good welcome.
I think the support would be good for him and show him that we, the American people, support the mission in Somalia and what he was doing, and he was doing the right thing in whatever he did, and we're out here to support him.
Staff Sergeant John Hastings of the 236 Medical Company waited nervously. He had served with Durant in 1985 when they were stationed together in Korea. At that time, Durant was a pilot for a helicopter company, and Hastings was his medic.
When I opened up the newspaper, I felt sick. I felt like somebody had hit me in the stomach. To see somebody that you know in a situation like that, of course, with no preparation, is pretty devastating.
The rousing welcome and departure was symbolic of the true American spirit in Europe.
It's really great that we could pass CW3 Durant through here, get him stabilized and on his way back to Fort Campbell. I think it was really a morale booster, and I think the feeling expressed by the people that came out to greet him and to say goodbye to him just really shows what Europe and the people in Europe is all about.
As the Black Hawk helicopter pilot departed Landstuhl Saturday morning, he looked tired and weak. His wife, Lori, stayed near his side. At Ramstein, he gave a farewell wave and a thumbs up to a small crowd that gathered on the flight line to see him off. The Durants declined all interviews until after their return to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. At Ramstein Air Base, Germany, Linda Frost, AFN News.
Exercise Dynamic Guard brought together 6 NATO nations with the common goal of allowing multinational militaries to work together. Dynamic Guard 93 also saw several branches within the American military combining their talents towards mission accomplishment. Gail McCabe brings us this report from Northwest Turkey, the exercise site for the U.S. Army participants.
The first thing you notice is the uniform. It's different, but then they say that's the way it is because they're Seabees.
We came in here, people never heard of the Seabees, let alone what we were all about, what we were able to do.
According to Lieutenant Taylor, the Seabees do it all. Technically, their mission is advanced base support construction. And on this joint service exercise, they had 3 jobs: to lay a wash rack pad, fix up a landing ramp, and construct an air operations facility. But at heart, they're nice guys. And when the Army needed a hand, the Seabees pitched in.
These guys have been great. And in reality, we probably couldn't have accomplished the mission here without them. They were on the ground first. They arrived about 3 days before our first people arrived. If they hadn't been here, I don't know how we'd have accomplished the mission. And that was that critical to us.
What the Seabees offer is a team of experts cross-trained in many areas. Normally, these land-based sailors team up with the Marines, only occasionally becoming involved with the Army.
We're going to convince convince a lot of people that we should be around for a long, long time, and perhaps they should organize the way that we are.
Whether that happens or not is for the future to determine. For the here and now, exercise dynamic guard is proving a point. One hand can help the other. In Chorlu, Turkey, with Dynamic Guard 93, Gail McCabe, 21st ACR.
Emergency relief flights to the Balkans have surpassed the Berlin airlift to become the Air Force's longest-running humanitarian airlift mission. 2 officers were given awards Friday, Colonel Thomas Witt and Captain Brian Williams, for their role in developing the fluttering of high-altitude food drops. Brigadier General Donald Loringer feels the mission will go on as long as needed.
Certainly, as winter approaches, people are, I think, more and more in need, and we're prepared to continue that as long as necessary. The holidays are approaching, of course. Interestingly enough, some volunteer organizations on the base have come together and are starting an operation called Provide Santa, where we can provide maybe a little bit of Christmas cheer and some needed clothing and the like to some young children in Bosnia-Herzegovina, so maybe their Christmas will be just a little brighter.
The Provide Promise Air missions began July 3rd, 1992, with flights into Sarajevo. The best fuel truck drivers in Europe found out just how good they are at Sembach Air Station, Germany. Senior Airman Bettina Kluever explains drivers competed in the annual Fuels Rodeo, a precision driving event that requires skill and nerves of steel.
For this year's rodeo, the competition pitted 13 teams from 12 bases in Europe: England, Italy, Turkey, Germany, and the Netherlands.
Each team has one driver that they choose to participate in each event. So there will be 13 competitors in each event, one from each team.
The teams competed in 5 events, driving a truck loaded with 6,000 pounds of fuel in a figure-8 pattern, changing a tire, backing up to a wall, steering a slalom course, and the checkpoint that involved finding 15 discrepancies on a truck.
The purpose of the competition is to foster esprit de corps, spirit, training, teamwork, and a good, friendly competition amongst all fuels personnel.
The teamwork necessary in all this showed up in the results. Bitburg was first in the tire change, slalom, and checkpoint categories. Ramstein's driver took top honors in the backing event, and the competitor from RAF Lakenheath displayed the most skill in the figure-8 event. Though the 2 teams from Sembach didn't place first in any category, they scored high enough to make an overall first and third place, with Bitburg in second. The team from Interlik received the Esprit de Corps Award for best teamwork, sportsmanship, and safety awareness. This year's rodeo resulted in one of the most heated competitions in recent memory, an indication of the skill and teamwork of those involved. Senior Airman Bettina Kluever, Air Force News, Sembach Air Base, Germany.
Whenever soldiers deploy to an unknown location, they have to spend a great amount of time to get things ready, and Operation Able Sentry was no exception. We get the report from Specialist Hank Minitrez.
In July, when Task Force 6th of the 502nd moved on to what is now the American compound in Macedonia, there was a lot of work to do to make the place livable. Elements of Berlin's 42nd Engineer Company, assigned to the Berlin Brigade's Combat Support Battalion, were instrumental in helping tackle the job of renovation. First Lieutenant Brian Bartow is the task force engineer.
We pretty much built this place from the ground up. We got here, and the first thing we did, first couple weeks, we placed a perimeter fence around the entire compound. We built roadblocks, gates, anything you see around here that has to do with construction, we built it. We designed the guard towers, the gate you see at the front, we designed that.
What makes the task force's engineers' situation so interesting is the fact that they are by trade combat engineers, a job totally opposite of the mission they are currently performing.
It is night and day, because combat engineers, we're trained to do mines, demolitions, breaching obstacles, and this is completely different. We're in charge of construction now, and we're just, we're not construction engineers, but the guys are doing a great job.
At the time this interview was done, Lieutenant Bartow and his men were busy building a foundation for a recreation hall for the task force. The engineers say building it should only take about a week. When thinking of their situation, an old saying comes to mind: adapt, improvise, and overcome to accomplish the mission. That seems to be the motto these engineers deployed to Macedonia are living by. Specialist Hank Minitrez, AFN News.
Well, the winter temperatures have arrived for us in the Benelux and Germany, but for some of you, tomorrow will feel like summer. While Sergeant Celinda Larrabee is away at school, we'll get all the weather news from Detachment 8, 7th Weather Squadron.
Turkey can expect partly sunny skies in the west with mostly cloudy skies and isolated rain showers in the eastern part of the country. Expect low temperatures in the 40s and highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. Saudi Arabia can expect mainly sunny skies with low temperatures in the 70s and highs in the low 100s. A tropical disturbance will bring mostly cloudy skies and a chance for thundershowers to Mogadishu with temperatures ranging from the low 70s to the upper 80s. England, the Benelux, and northern Germany will see plenty of sunshine again tomorrow with cool temperatures. Expect lows to be in the mid-30s and highs to be in the upper 40s. Southern Germany and northern Italy will see mostly cloudy skies and a chance for showers. Temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. Zagreb and Macedonia can also expect some showers and temperatures in the mid-70s. Spain will be the place to be with mostly sunny skies and temperatures in the 70s. Taking a look at your local forecast, temperatures are expected to remain cool north of the Alps for the next couple of days. Italy and Croatia can expect to see continued cloudy skies and a chance for showers. And that's your forecast. Enjoy.
Headquarters members of the 11th Armored Cavalry Regiment's 4th Squadron out of Fulda, Germany, rappelled into their final honor ceremony on Friday, marking the final farewell of the 11th ACR. The rappellers had their rucksacks loaded up with roses and distributed them to the ladies present at the ceremony. Over 200 soldiers marched for the final time across their flight line, some dressed in the traditional garb of the cavalry, right down to the spurs on their boots, while spectators looked on. Another highlight in the ceremony was the close of it all, where once again soldiers took to the skies via helicopter and flew off into history, thus ending another long chapter in the history of the Armored Cav in Germany. It was evident in the voice of one soldier that the 11th ACR did indeed play a major role in the history of the U.S. military in Germany.
I've been here for the past 10 years in the cavalry, and today I'm still trying to shake it off. I've got to find a new home. My most memorable experience was the day that the border came down and we flew up there in helicopters and experienced millions of people coming over the border into freedom. Hooah!
4th Squadron of the 11th ACR has been active since October 1988, but the Air Cav has had a long tradition of service which was formed in Germany back in 1960. Military training in Germany isn't what it used to be. 10 years ago, you could see soldiers at the Hohenfels or Grafenwehr training sites blowing up the landscape with mortar shells or driving track vehicles over the German countryside, with all of it taking its toll on the land. Today, that's all changed. Diana Dawa has our report.
Because the environment is a strong concern with both the military and host nation, steps are taken to ensure maneuver damage is at a minimum during training exercises. Major Jeff Bemis works out of the USAR Environmental Office.
We have brochures, manuals, books, training awareness videos. Any unit going into a training area receives these briefings as part of their, before they're allowed to move into the areas. They are constantly reminded of them during their stays in the area, and they are also down briefed before they do leave the areas.
When maneuver damage does occur, the cleanup process is immediate. The U.S. military works closely with the host nation to comply with German law when it comes to environmental issues. In 1986, the Integrated Training Area Management, or ITAM program, was implemented at the Combat Maneuver Training Center at Hohenfels. ITAM has helped to restore the training area and ensure a realistic training experience, enhancing readiness, capability, safety, and survivability. Wolfgang Grimm is a forester with the USERER Environmental Office.
We cannot afford, especially in such a small country like Germany with such a high military density, to run a training area into the ground and then move on to the next one. So we need to take care, we need to assure that the training areas are being used in such a way that the generations after us have also the same good training space available.
According to USERER environmental experts, because of the Integrated Training Area Management Program, excessive damage and loss of valuable land is avoided, resulting in a reduction of operational expenses. Officials say ITAM provides a balance between meeting mission requirements while protecting renewable natural resources for the future. With the USERER Public Affairs Office, Diana Dawa reporting.
USERER is offering a voluntary early retirement incentive program for its appropriate